Okay, this is our rounding, adding, and subtracting test corrections. So make sure that you write down everything I write down in blue. Make sure you use a red pen and you copy down everything that I write down. So number 1 says Beatrice was making brownies and filled a bowl with 1 2500 cups of brownie mix, 1 cup of water, and 5/10 cup of oil. How many cups of ingredients did Beatrice add to the bowl? Okay, now we actually did this one together and I set it up for you on the board. Remember, we talked about how you have to make sure that your decimals are lined up and your place values are lined up. We talked about how 1 means that there's a 1 in the ones place and that 5/10 needs to go here. And then you can go back in and fill in your zeros as placeholders. And our keyword here was add. Remember, I set this one up for you on the board, and some of you still did not write it down the way that I asked you to, or the way that I did it on the board, and you got it wrong because you did not follow directions. So 5 plus 0 is 5. 5 plus 0 is 5. So then 2 plus 0 is 2. 2 plus 5 is 7. And then 1 plus 1 is 2. So 2 7500 was our answer, which is B. Okay, down below it, number 2, it says Evan scored 894 and 6800 points on a video game. His friend Gabriel scored 379 and 1600 fewer points than Evan. How many points did Gabriel score? So our keyword here is fewer, which is telling us to subtract. So we have 894 and 6800ths, and then we have 379 and 1600ths, and this is subtraction. Make sure all your place values are lined up, your decimals are lined up. Now subtract. 8 minus 6 is 2. 6 minus 1 is 5. 4 minus 9, I can't do that. There's more on the floor. I have to go next door and borrow 10 more. So this becomes an 8, and then this becomes 14. 14 minus 9, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 is 5. Okay, 8 minus 7 is 1, and then 8 minus 3 is 5. So 515 and 5200ths, which is answer choice B. Looking down at number 3, it says Carson bought a 34-pound bag of fertilizer for his yard. He used 7 8/10 pounds of fertilizer in his garden and 15 4/10 pounds in his front yard. How many pounds of fertilizer does Carson have left to use? Okay, remember how I told you to write a little note and say this was a 2-step problem? Okay, I told y'all that before we started. Some of y'all did. Some of y'all did and then didn't do 2 steps. And some of y'all didn't write anything down at all. Okay. So this is how much he started with. He started with 34 pounds. He used this much, and then he used this much, and it wants to know how much he had left. So you can do this 2 ways. You can take 34 and subtract 7 8/10, and then subtract 15 4/10. Or you can add 7 8/10 and 15 4/10 and then subtract that from 34. So that's the way I'm going to do it. So let's start with 15 4/10 and then 7 8/10. And we're going to add those 2 together first. So I'm going to put a 0 here as a placeholder. Now I'm going to add 4 plus 8 is 12. Carry my 1. 1 plus 5 is 6. 6 plus 7 is 13. Carry my 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. Drop down my decimal. 23 2/10. Now, some of you stopped here. Okay, remember I told you it was 2 steps. So now you have to take the 34. Okay, so that's 3 10s, 4 1s. Remember, that's before the decimal. And then we have 23 2/10. And we're going to subtract that. Okay, so I'm going to put my 0 here as a placeholder, and now I'm going to subtract. But wait, can I subtract 0 minus 2? No, there's more on the floor. I have to go next door and get 10 more. That makes that a 0, and then that can become a 10. So 10 minus 2 is 8. 3 minus 3 is 0, and 3 minus 2 is 1. So 10 8/10 should have been your answer, and on the test it was a type in. So you should have hit 10.8. Okay, looking at number 4, it says the table below shows Juanita's running time for 5 50-yard races. What was Juanita's total time for the 5 races? So it's asking us to add all these numbers together, okay? So let's look. Let me get closer so you can see this. All right, so see how the decimals are all set up? So we're just gonna save some space and just add that together. So 9 plus 7 is 16. 16 plus 8, so 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Then 2 is 25, 26. And then 26 plus 6 is 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. So then I'm going to put my 2 here, and then my decimal goes there. And then I'm going to carry this 3 up here above this 1. So 3 plus 1 is 4. 4 plus 9 is 13. 13 plus 8, so we have 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. And then plus 0 still gives us 21, and then another one gives us 22. So then this 2 goes here, and then I carry that 2 above this other 1. So 2 plus 1 is 3. Remember, there's a 0 here and a 0 here. So we still have 3, 4, 5. So that's 52 and 2/100, which is D. Okay, let's look at number 5. It says Tammy bought a corn dog for $6.25 and a funnel cake for $5.50. If she paid with a $20 bill, how much change did she receive? Okay, remember I also told you that this one was a 2-step problem. Okay, so we talked about how when we did our Casa Olay day that if you see the word change, that's telling you to subtract. But before you can subtract, you have to figure out how much she spent. So first, we have to add. So we have $6.25, $5.50. So we're going to add these together first. So 5 plus 0 is 5. 2 plus 5 is 7. Drop down my decimal. 6 plus 5 is 11. So $11.75 was her total, which is how much her food items cost. So then she goes to the cashier and she pays with a $20 bill. Okay, so we have $20, and then we have $11.75 that we're subtracting from it. Okay, now remember, we're subtracting across zeros, so we have to borrow because we can't do 0 minus 5, and we can't take anything from that 0. We can't take anything from that 0. We have to go all the way down to the 2. That becomes a 1. That becomes a 10. But we have to take 1 from there to give it here, and then we have to take 1 from there and give it to here. So now we have 10 minus 5 is 5. 9 minus 7 is 2. 9 minus 1 is 8, and 1 minus 1 is 0. Drop down my decimal, and so the change she got was $8.25. And you didn't have to put a dollar sign because it was already there, but you could have. All right, let's turn the page, go to the next question. Okay, so let's see, number 6. Number 6 says the population of Orange County is 3,151,723. What is this number rounded to the nearest 100,000? All right, so first you had to find the 100,000s place, which is right here, this 1. Then we had to draw our arrow and look next door. 5 or more raises the score, so that's going to make that 1 become a 2. We don't mess with the 3. Everything else becomes a 0. So that's 3,200,000, which is answer choice B. Okay, go down to number 7. A famous social media celebrity posted a new video that received 1,873,618 views in the first week. What is this number rounded to the nearest 10,000? So the first thing you had to do was find the 10,000s place. Some of you found the tens. Nope, the 10,000s place. So that's going to be right here, the 7. And then again, we draw our arrow. We look next door. 3 is 4 or less, so it's going to let that 7 rest. So we're not doing anything to the 1 or the 8. The 7 is resting. Everything else becomes a 0. So we have 1,870,000, which is answer choice A. Number 8, the American Airlines Center in Dallas, Texas can seat 18,532 fans for a hockey game. If 4,622 seats were sold to the fans of a visiting team during their last game, how many seats were remaining for local fans? Okay, so they started with this many seats, then they sold this many seats, and it's asking how many were remaining or how many left. And so that tells us we're going to subtract. So we need to line up our place values. So 18,532. And then we have 4,622. And we're subtracting. Okay, make sure we lined up all our place values. 2 minus 2 is 0. 3 minus 2 is 1. 5 minus 6, I can't do that. There's more on the floor. I've got to go next door. That becomes 7. That becomes 15. 15 minus 6. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. And then 7 minus 4 is 3. And 1 minus 0, because remember this is a 0, is 1. And then 1, 2, 3, comma. So 13,910 was my answer after I subtracted. And that is answer choice D. Number 9. There are around 38,947 items in the local grocery store. Which point on the number line best represents this number rounded to the nearest thousand? Okay, now this question threw some of you guys off. So this is the number we're looking at, and it wants you to round it to the nearest thousand. So find the thousands place, which is the 8. Look next door, which is the 9. 9 is 5 or more, so it's going to raise the score. So it's going to raise the 8 to a 9, so then our rounded number is going to be 39,000. And so on your computer, you were just supposed to click on 39,000. Okay. Now, let's look at number 10. All right, a popular food sold at the county fair is the corn dogs. Look how many Sally sold this weekend alone. Okay, so we've got Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Then the question says, how many more? Okay, well, that's keywords. How many more, we know is for subtract, were sold on Friday and Saturday. So it's wanting us to combine Friday and Saturday than on Sunday. So again, remember I told you guys that this was a 2-step. Okay, so first we have to combine Friday and Saturday. So we have 516 plus 886. 6 plus 6 is 12. Carry my 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 8 is 10. Carry my 1. 1 plus 5 is 6. 6 plus 8 is 14. 1, 2, 3, comma. All right, so Friday and Saturday were 1,402. And then Sunday was 670. So we have 1,402 minus 670. Okay, make sure my place values are lined up. 2 minus 0 is 2. 0 minus 7, I can't do that. I have to borrow. This becomes 3. This becomes 10. 10 minus 7 is 3. 3 minus 6, can't do that. I have to borrow. 13 minus 6. 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. And 0 minus 0 is 0. So 732 is what you should have typed in here in the box on your computer. Okay, number 11. Joseph was training for a run. He ran 4 9/10 kilometers on Monday and 4 56/100 kilometers on Tuesday. How many total kilometers did he run? So total tells us to add. So we just have to line up our decimals. So we have 4 9/10, and then we have 4 56/100. Okay, I'm gonna add a 0 here as a placeholder. 0 plus 6 is 6. 9 plus 5 is 14. Carry my 1. 1 plus 4 is 5. 5 plus 4 is 9. Drop down my decimal. We should have 9 and 46 hundredths, which is A. Okay, number 12. The location and lengths of the 3 longest tunnels in the world are listed. The Gotthard Base Tunnel, the Silken Tunnel, and the Channel Tunnel. What is the difference? Remember, we also looked at this word beforehand and said that what is the difference? So between the Channel Tunnel and the Gotthard Tunnel. So the Channel Tunnel is 50 and 45 hundredths, and the Gotthard is 57 and 7 hundredths. So the bigger number has to go on top. So that's 57 and 7 hundredths, and then 50 and 45 hundredths. And difference tells us to subtract. 7 minus 5 is 2. Can't do 0 minus 4. Got to go next door. That becomes 6. That becomes 10. 10 minus 4 is 6. 6 minus 0 is 6. 5 minus 5 is 0. Drop down my decimal. So my answer should be 6 and 62 hundredths, which is C. 13. Lindsay purchased 1 pet carrier that cost $21.89 and 2 bags of cat food that cost $16.49. What is the total? Telling us to add. So we have $21.89, and then there's 2 bags of cat food for $16.49. So we have to have 2 $16.49s. Okay, 9 plus 9 is 18. 18 plus 9 is 27. So carry my 2. 2 plus 8 is 10. 10 plus 4 is 14. 14 plus 4 is 18. Carry my 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 6 is 8. 8 plus 6 is 14, right? Let me do that one more time. My head's a little fuzzy. So 6 plus 6 is 12, 13, 14. So yeah, that's right. Sorry, just had to double check myself. Carry my 1. 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 plus 1 is 4. 4 plus 1 is 5. Drop down my decimal. And this was money. So we have $54.87, which is answer choice A. Okay. We have number 14. There are 2 hiking trails in a park. The trail Y is 2 7/10 miles long. Trail Z is 5 84 hundredths miles long. What is the total length? So we just need to add these 2 together. So we have 2 7/10, and then we have 5 84 hundredths. Okay, and put 0 here as a placeholder. 0 plus 4 is 4. 7 plus 8 is 15. Carry my 1. 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 plus 5 is 8. Drop down my decimal. 8 and 54 hundredths, which is C. All right, number 15. It says around 3,434,618 to the given place. So first I want you to round to the thousandths place. So the thousandths place is this 4 right here. So look next door. 6 raises the score, so that should become a 5. So we have 3,435,000, which on the computer you would have just drug that one to that box. Okay, then the next one says round it to the 100,000ths place. So the 100,000ths place is this 4. Look next door. The 3 makes it rest. So then we have 3,400,000, which is this guy right here. So that should have just been, that should have just been moved. Okay, and then the last box says the tens place. Now the tens place is right here, this 1. Look next door at the 8. 8 is 5 or more. It's going to make that one become a 2. So we have 3,434,620. And that is this box right here. Okay, and then the bonus says, which statement is true about the following numbers? All the numbers round to 6,900 when rounded to the nearest hundred. Okay, so here's the hundreds place. Look, this 9. Look next door at this 9. Nope, that's not going to be right. B, all numbers round to 7,000 when rounded to the nearest 1,000. Okay, let's look. This 9 is going to make, or look, this is the thousands place. Look next door. 9 is going to raise the score, so that's 7,000. Thousands place, look next door. 0 is going to make it rest, so that's 7,000. Thousands place, look next door. 1's going to let it rest, so that's 7,000. 6,000, look next door. 7's going to make it become a 7, so yes, that's probably our answer, but let's look at all these. All numbers round to 6,000. Well, no, that can't be true. We just said all of them round to 7,000. And all numbers are greater than 7,500, which is not true because they're not. So our answer for sure is B. All right, please make sure that you fill this out in red pen and you give it back to your teacher so you can earn your 70.